and welcome to Madness in the Method, the premier Nicolas Cage podcast, where we do nothing but talk about Nicolas Cage. Even though other podcasts might claim to be the premier podcast, we are the premier Nicolas Cage podcast. Tell your friends. With me, as always, well, I am Tobias. I should start with saying the co-creator of this podcast. And with me, as always, is my friend and trusted co-host, Christopher.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Christopher. And in this episode, we're talking about a Nicolas Cage movie. But it's also a David Lynch movie. It's 1990s Wild at Heart. And, I don't know, had you seen this one before?
No, I had not seen it and I had not heard about it.
Oh, okay. I knew of it. I had seen at least a couple of scenes before, but I had never seen the whole thing. I don't know why, because I have watched most of his movies, but I skipped this one and Mulholland Drive. I don't know why. But either way, now I have seen it.
I also seen quite a bit of Lynch, but I probably have seen this and saw that Nicolas Cage was in it and then just skipped it because this was like years ago. So I guess I probably heard of it, but that's all.
But you didn't make the connection when you started making the list of movies to watch.
One of those movies where it's like, yeah, I probably heard of it, but I've forgotten it since then. In that case, so.
All right. Well, yeah. Like I said, the same with me. I hadn't seen it before, but I knew of it. Well, there's not much of a story, really. I guess we could quickly go through the story. It's just Nicolas Cage plays Sailor. He doesn't have another name, right? It's just Sailor.
No, yeah. Sailor, but he has a last name, so Sailor Ripley. Right,
Sailor Ripley. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the movie, is incarcerated for manslaughter. And when he gets out, him and his girlfriend Lula go on a road trip. Just because, basically. If you don't get too much into the meaning of the movie. And at the same time, Lula's mother, who I don't remember the name of either, Lula's played by Laura Dern, and Laura Dern's mother, I can't remember.
Diane Ladd.
Right, thank you, Diane Ladd, plays her mother in the movie. And she does not like Sailor Ripley for a plethora of reasons. So she decides to put a hit out on him, and hilarity ensues.
Hilarity, I wouldn't use that word.
No, not hilarity ensues, but adventure ensues. Stuff happens.
Yeah, but yeah, that is, this movie is a lot of just stuff happening. As you said, there isn't much story. From what I've gathered, well, my interpretation of the movie at least, is that it's just a movie about love, never-ending love. Just universe is trying to break them apart, but they will stick together through everything.
There's definitely that, because their love endures.
Yeah.
And their love is never questioned, I guess, until the very end, but it's only for like a minute, and then it's like, no, wait. An interpretation that I had, though, we should mention, why there's not a lot of stories, because this is a David Lynch movie. And all of his movies, I mean, some of them have a lot of story and stuff, but mostly his movies are just visuals tied together by a loose story.
Yeah, he usually has like one big idea, and then visuals. That's usually his movies.
Yes. At least when they're like his own projects. Like Dune, of course, has a lot of story, but that's still distinctly a David Lynch movie, even though it's based on a book. But I since I hadn't seen this before, I thought the movie was, other than love, of course, that one's obvious. I really felt like the movie was about how you handle trauma, because most of the characters seem to have experienced trauma in some way. Lula has been raped. She has seen her father burn by self-immolation. Of course, Sailor has to deal with the fact that he kills a man in the beginning. even some of the minor characters mention stuff that has happened to them, like Bobby Peru. He was in the Navy and saw people die in the war and stuff like that. And a lot of the characters deal with their trauma in not the healthiest of ways. And there's even like the scene with the car crash where you directly gets to see someone suffering from a head trauma, like more of a physical trauma, and just die in front of them. So that's the meaning that I took from this, like trauma and how to not deal with it, really, because no one deals with the trauma in the best of ways in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got a point there. It wasn't something I got from the movie, but yeah, maybe in the next watch.
Yeah, but just like the same, that's the fact that they're running away from their like previous lives, basically. Of course, then Lula running away from a abusive uncle, or well, her father's business partner, even though he's dead. It's still there, so she's running away from that.
And a very controlling mother.
Yes, a very controlling mother who in her own way, I guess, has. You don't really get any specific trauma other than, I mean, she kind of was the perpetrator in burning Lula's father. So I guess that still traumatized you, even though you wanted to do it. And there's this, like, obviously they're kind of running away from reality because they're just get in the car and start driving. They don't have any money. They don't know where they're going. There's a lot of talk about the Wizard of Oz. They're obviously not like comfortable in the real world, so they just start running and having fun along the way. But then there's the scene where Lula is driving, Sailor's in the back seat sleeping, and you hear a newscast on the radio, and they start talking about people who have been murdered and people dying in disasters, and it's just a bunch of horrible, horrible news. And she just stops the car and gets out of the car and says, change the station, I can't handle it. And they put on some music and start just violently dancing to some heavy metal. Like, obviously, like, the real world is not something they enjoy. So they do everything they can to escape it. But then, of course, it comes creeping back towards the end. The last, like, 20 minutes, reality... What does that mean? Reality hits? No, whatever it is.
I don't know what you mean. Sorry.
I don't remember. That's the... whatever. Reality hits you or something. Whatever. It was a meme. Because then, yeah, everything becomes very serious. Through some... they don't have any money. Lula is pregnant all of a sudden. And they have to do some stuff, to survive. And all of a sudden, they're back in the real world with consequences and, big choices to make in their life. So, yeah, I enjoyed it that way. But, like, I don't have much more to say about the story.
Yeah, I mean, again, there isn't really a story. It's more like a symbol of a story.
Yeah,
in a way. So yeah, there's not much, but there's a lot of Lynch stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things that I still can't really figure out, I wonder if you have any ideas. It's all because there's a lot of Wizard of the Oz references throughout the entire movie, and I couldn't really grasp why, because Lynch is a writer and a director who he doesn't put anything in without thinking about it.
Sure.
So I wonder what is why.
Well, first of all, he's a big fan of the Wizard of Oz movie. And he has references in other movies as well. But this one it's all over the place. I mean, they literally say Wizard of the Oz.
Several times, and then there's this even the well, spoilers, but even at the end the good witch,
the good witch or fairy godmother, whatever she is, she appears to Sailor. And Lula's mother appears in a vision as the Wicked Witch of the East. This is something he has referenced later in other movies as well. But when they're driving, they're always the lines in the road are yellow. They're driving down a yellow brick road.
Yeah.
After Bobby Peru assaults Lula in their hotel room, she clicks her heels 3 times, and she wears red shoes.
There's also this cut to this witch who's looking at them through a magic ball.
Yeah. The movie seems to be someone's vision through a magic whatever it's called. Yeah, ball, crystal ball.
Yeah, crystal ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel there should be
that's
some.
one thing.
Yeah, I'm just feeling if there's some deeper meaning throughout the movie, if this is a weird sort of retelling or anything like that, but I can't put anything concrete to.
I guess it's partly a retelling. I mean, you have the Wicked Witch of the East sending her minions after our heroes. You don't really have, you don't. I guess you could say that Lula is Dorothy, but I don't know who Sailor would be. But yeah, they are traveling. They are traveling down a road. They're not going towards some wizard that can help them, but there are definite references like story beats and characters and moments from the movie. But it's not. I don't think it's a proper retelling of Wizard of the Oz. The Wizard of Oz.
So you only think it's just because Lynch likes it?
He likes it. It's a movie about escaping reality. That movie is literally not escaping reality, but leaving reality to go to a fantasy land, which is kind of an escape if you think of what happens at the beginning with Dorothy, all the sad stuff. It's definitely. I mean, the fact that she clicks her heels 3 times after she almost gets raped by Bobby Peru. It's kind of to push reality out of your field of view. I think it has a lot to do with that. Because for a long time that was like the ultimate fantasy movie. When it was still pretty new. I mean, there was no movie, and in some ways still hasn't been made another movie like The Wizard of Oz. So I can understand why you would reference that as an escape from reality. I don't know if you watched. There's this YouTuber called Empleman.
No.
Heard of him? Okay.
Not heard.
He made a video about which. Oh my god! I almost said it again. The Wizard of Oz, which was very informative and a very good video. I recommend it to anyone. Just look up Empleman Wizard of Oz and you'll find it.
I mean, it is a very interesting movie, just through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of interesting trivia and just how it looks and everything behind the scenes.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, that's Wilder Heart sort of. They just go on this road trip and stuff happens.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so I think their first stop is New Orleans, I think.
Yeah.
And then they're going to California.
They're on the way to California, but they stop off in Texas, Big Tuna, Texas,
which is such a stupid thing to do, because that's really they ruined everything by just stopping there.
Yeah, well, they were out of money, so
is it?
They didn't really have a choice. Yeah, because he mentions when Bobby talks to him, he mentions they only have $40 left, and I mean that's not enough to fill up your gas tank to go to California. Yeah, so they stop at the hotel, which they can afford at least a few days for $40.
But didn't they stay there because he wanted to check if there was a hit out on them?
Oh yeah. Because Lula's mother had hired. He had some connections to some tangential connections to the death of Lula's father. Yeah, and he had some connections in the underworld, so he wanted to.
Yeah, and that's at least the original reason to why the mother wanted to get him out of the way, or get away from Lula, because he, in a roundabout way, knew, or he was there for some reason. A roundabout reason, he was there when the father died, so he knew that the mother was involved in that, and the mother, I guess, was scared that he would tell Lula about it.
Yeah,
but then Yeah.
She does anyway.
Yeah, and then she hires this hitman, this stupid weird hitman hit, where just a lot of they're at a theater or something, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with this I don't know what you want to call them. It kind of reminded me of the John Wick kind of expanded universe thing where they had silver coins and all the ladies had the same kind of hair and they were all insane. So it was like this little network of assassins all over America.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that, but I didn't quite understand what the hell was going on. I mean, I have an idea, but
I meant at the beginning of the movie where they are.
Oh right! The first guy that he kills.
Yeah, and they're sort of at a theater there or something.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah. And then the mother sort of goes up to, I guess, someone else that is criminal. I hope it's not just a random guy, and just says, "Here, I give you." I think it says like $100 or $500 or something.
Something like that. Not a lot to kill a person.
Yeah, take $500, kill that guy now, and he goes over. But I'm gonna kill you now because she said so.
And she for some reason gives him a phony reason why, like, oh, he tried to have sex with me in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Even though we later find out that she tried to have sex with him, which I'm guessing she's like trying to buy his silence with sex.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work because Sailor only loves one woman. That's Lula.
Yeah, and then so he kills this random hitman guy, and gets sent for manslaughter, and that's the beginning of the movie. And from there on, the mother has just this weird obsession of getting rid of him, even though the secret is out at this point.
Yeah,
she's still just he needs to go. Even like at the end of the movie, like the end of the movie, she's still on this.
Yeah,
he needs to go.
And I think that is just like that is just because she's supposed to be the wicked witch in this story. She's just evil. Even when there's no point in killing him anymore, she's like, no, stay away from him. Oh. Yeah. She's literally like insane, laying on some footstool, like dragging herself along the floor when she's talking to Lula over the phone. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, she does a lot of Lynch things. Like that stool, and then this scene where she paints herself red with lipstick for some reason, and then just throws up for no real reason. I don't know what's going on in that scene.
Well, the painting of herself red is probably just a reference to the devil, because Lynch has, and this is a quote, he has said that this is a road movie through hell. And that's why they meet most people they meet are terrible and horrible. And that the whole motif of fire is there as well to represent hell. They're going through their own personal hell, but also kind of a literal hell because of all the motifs of hell. Which makes sense. And then fire then also, both in this and in other David Lynch projects, because he usually has fire in one way or another. I mean, he even called the Twin Peaks movie Fire Walk With Me. It represents, well, in this movie, definitely represents passion. Fiery passion between Lula and Sailor, but then also destruction. But also then kind of like rebirth through the destruction. But that's more in other movies. I saw someone mention, I don't know if that's a stretch, but in Mulholland Drive, when whoever it is that gets out of that car wreck, she steps out of a burning car as a new person. So there's the whole fire thing is something he comes back to a lot in his movies. And I mean, even on a more like literal level, Lula has a relationship to fire in the fact that the guy who raped her, Uncle Poochie, died in an explosion, a car wreck. And her father was burned to death in her own house, and she almost burned alive because the house burnt down almost. So that's the whole fire thing.
There's one other sort of Lynch thing. Again, we talked about it earlier. This weird cuts to things that Lynch always does. Just cuts to weird things. But there's one scene I couldn't get my head around. And there's at the sort of not end of the movie, but at the like the third act of the movie. I can't remember exactly where, but it's somewhere where we see a sort of a procedure. There's like this big magnifying glass, and we see a person, and someone takes sort of blood from her or something.
That is Lula, right? I thought that was Lula.
I don't think it's the same actress.
Oh, okay.
It could be symbolizing Lula if it's like a younger actress, or maybe that she's younger. I don't know, but I couldn't wrap my head around what I was seeing and why.
I was pretty sure that was an abortion after she was raped. Because she mentions to Sailor, like, I did something when I was younger. I can't even say it. Just she writes it down on a note. Mm-hmm. That's when we see that scene. And then after Sailor reads it, he's like, "Oh, that I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me." And she said, "Oh, it bothers me."
No, but that's...
I thought it was.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe. It was just that I'm pretty sure it's not the same actor. I think that's the thing that just made it weird for me.
Okay, yeah, I didn't notice that. That's Laura Dern. Oh, okay. One thing that I didn't... I mean, maybe I wasn't 100% focused towards the end, but I don't remember them ever saying Lula was pregnant, except for Bobby Peru saying it when he meets up with Sailor. But I never remember Lula saying it to anyone.
That's what she writes on a note.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she writes, so I can't say it, and then she writes it and gives it, and on the note it says, "I'm pregnant." And then he says, something like, "I don't mind." And she says, I think I do. No, don't.
Okay. But the scene of the operation or procedure is tied to that scene. That's why I connected them in my head.
So
okay.
Then
it might just be that he... I don't know. There's the whole being pregnant and abortion. I saw it as an abortion. Maybe it wasn't an abortion. Yeah. Maybe it was supposed to symbolize her becoming pregnant. I don't know. I just thought it was an abortion, and I connected it to her being raped earlier. In the story.
It probably is
before
that.
The movie starts.
It's probably that, but it's not clear. But again. It is a Lynch movie, so I mean...
A lot of things aren't clear in David Lynch movies. Or David Lynch projects.
Yeah, but there's a lot of interesting actors in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them.
A lot of Twin Peaks actors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I read somewhere that he just sort of... just took a lot of them from set. They just had to stop production on Twin Peaks for this movie.
Because it had to be around the same time, since Twin Peaks came out the year after. So
there was also this, because that car wreck scene.
Oh yeah.
That was apparently written around or for that actress from Twin Peaks.
Okay, yeah, she's the is her name Sherilyn Fenn? Right, I think so.
Yeah, that's her name.
Plays Leland's. No, not Leland's. Leland's daughter. The kind of mean girl from Twin Peaks, whatever her name is.
Yeah, exactly. It was a long time I watched Twin Peaks. I don't really remember any of the
characters. Sherilyn Fenn, yeah, she plays girl in Accident. Yeah.
So apparently, what I've heard is that it's such a David Lynch thing that he had it when they filmed Twin Peaks. He got this idea that because it looks a lot like a porcelain doll with her white skin. And,
yeah.
And he got this idea that for a car accident or an accident that would make her look like a broken doll.
Yeah.
And then he just put it in this movie. And just, could you do it? I just want to do this thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's. I mean, because he isn't. He is primarily an artist, not a filmmaker. I mean, he used to paint pictures and then started making moving pictures, these little short movies, the ABC and the whatever man throwing up movie, whatever.
Yeah, and those short movies that he did at the beginning, they're just 100% art.
Yes, exactly. So when he gets an idea, he he's working with movies at the moment, so he'll just make a scene out of it. But then you can't really just put out a scene, so I'll make a movie around it, and it'll be strange, and I can put all my friends in it, and then I'll show it to everyone, and I won't tell them what it's about, but it's fine.
But I gotta say, I really like that scene because it's very jarring and it doesn't have anything to do with the movie at all, really. Again, you just put a scene in the movie, but for me it brings sort of a realism to the movie that things happen sometimes.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to mean anything.
But it also works sort of like the real world creeping into their fantasy, like, oh shit, she actually died right in front of them.
Yeah, and from that and then point, also, the mood of both Lola and Sailor, really shifts from that point on, because up until that point it's just a fun ride, but that's like a cutoff point that now you have to get money, now you have to realize what you're going to do, you have to have a plan, all those things. Before it's just, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, that's the scene I talked about where you actually experience physical trauma, because she hits her head. I mean, she doesn't look to be that hurt, really, other than her cut on her head. But obviously she had some brain trauma and dies from it. Yeah. Which is also, that's one thing, like physical trauma as a part of the trauma theme. But yeah, some more actors from, because Sherilyn Fenn is from Twin Peaks. Jack Nance, who is only in one scene, the guy who talks about his dog, double O Spool or Double Zero Spool, his name in the movie. I have David Patrick Kelly, who is one of the assassins or gangsters. Grace Zabriskie, who plays Laura Palmer's mom, is one of the blonde women in the movie. Madgen Emsham, I think she plays the Laura Palmer. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Laura Palmer is there.
Yeah, she plays the fairy godmother, good fairy thing in the end, right? That's her, right?
Yeah, it's her.
I wasn't sure, but that looks like her, I thought.
And then we have, obviously, Willem Dafoe. Come on.
But he's not in Twin Peaks, is he?
No, I was just good movie characters in this movie.
Okay. Oh, sure, yeah.
We were done with the Twin Peaks characters. I think that's all.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yes, Willem Dafoe, then, yes, definitely. And Crispin Glover in a very strange, smaller part.
It's the second movie with Crispin Glover so far in this podcast.
Oh, that's true, yeah. He doesn't share any scenes with Nicolas Cage, unfortunately.
No. There's a lot of good actors. There's not many characters, even though it feels like there are a lot of them, but there aren't really. Talking characters, that is.
No, a lot of them is just like one scene or two scenes and then they're gone. It's really like the ones that are really in the movie a lot are Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, Willem Dafoe, Harry Dean Stanton for a while until he dies, and Diane Ladd. Oh, and J.E. Freeman, Santos, the guy she's Diane Ladd is in love with or whatever, the crazy gangster guy. But yeah, other than that, people are just like, they come in and out of the movie.
Yeah, like that the two hitman ladies. Well, the hitman lady with the cane.
Yeah, and three of them, aren't there?
Yeah, there's three. Because there's her with the cane, and then it's Bobby Prue's girlfriend or something.
Yeah, Isabella Rossellini.
Yeah, and then there's one more that I don't think have a speaking role.
No, I don't think so. I think there is, like, because there's a lot of specifically with this Mr. Reindeer, the big hitman guy. Yeah,
he has like a lot of ladies just walking around, existing, sort of.
Yeah. No. I found a picture of another girl with a blonde wig, but she was just a stunt person. She was Isabella Rossellini's stunt double, so she's not technically. I mean, she's in the movie, but she's not a character. That was another thing that I don't understand. Why were they all dressed the same way and had the same wig or just had that hair? And all of them being like involved. No, not all of them being involved with, because Isabella Rossellini wasn't involved with the assassins.
When was Isabella Rossellini?
She was the one who drove the car at the bank robbery.
Oh, that's that was Bobby her. Bruce, I didn't even recognize her.
No, yeah.
Okay. Because I know the actress, but I didn't even connect that it was her in this movie. I just saw her in the cast list and said, okay, I guess she's there somewhere.
Yeah. I couldn't really like, what is the point of them all looking alike? And then I this is just me grasping for straws, but what's his name? Sailor mentions that he definitely has, well, based on Lula, he has a type. He likes wild women because he's wild at heart, and she mentions that they're wild at heart. And every other like criminal lady, or like all of the women in the movie that are like bad or criminal or evil are all blonde. So I'm wondering if that's a thing. That's why he cast people with dark hair but put a blonde wig on them because it looks strange. I don't know.
Yeah. The only thing that I have, and I can't even begin to interpret it, but the only thing that I can even grasp at is that Sailor at one point says in the movie that gentlemen only like blonde girls.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know.
They all have the same haircut and the same dress. They all have that short black cocktail dress and the same curly hair. I don't know. And I'm thinking, because that's a thing in Lost Highway, where there's like, I don't remember, there's like two stories going on, and you have two actresses playing basically the same character, but they are two different characters, but they look the same. Something weird. I don't remember that movie. And I'm thinking it's something like that. He's like, he wants them to look the same because they represent the same thing, or I don't know. That was the only thing, like, I couldn't figure it out, and that annoyed me.
Yeah, I mean, you could spend probably hours trying to interpret this, and at the end, it's probably just because he thought it looked cool.
Yeah, probably.
That's how he's
David Lynch.
Yeah. He's a very interesting director, but it's hard. His movies are hard to watch or understand, at least.
Yeah. Some of his movies are like actually hard to watch. Most of them are hard to figure out at first, but some are there. Have you seen Inland Empire? That is a hard movie to actually physically watch.
I don't think so.
I think it's like his last proper movie project, and he made it in like 2006 or something.
Yeah, I had like this one. No, I have not seen this movie. Okay. I had like this one specific like year or 2 years where I just watched a lot of Lynch, but then I never watched Lynch again from then. So there's a lot of Lynch movies I missed. Yeah. But
well, you should check that one out. It's like 3 hours of like visual terror.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
It is a good movie. It's just that one is tough to figure out and to just watch.
But you know what? This is not the David Lynch podcast. This is the Nicolas Cage podcast.
True. Yeah, that's true. So let's move on, because we could keep racking our brains. I don't think it will make more sense of it. But let's talk about Nicolas Cage in the movie. Yes. There's not a moment where he goes full rage Cage, but he's kind of at like 75% the entire movie instead, which I kind of enjoyed.
I mean, the closest rage Cage we get is when he dances.
Oh, sure, yeah.
When he does this, he does the same kick that he did in Firebirds.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like his signature dance move, just kicking real high.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if you could really call it a rage cage, but in the very end, when he decides to go back to Lula, he just stands up and goes, Lula! And then runs away from the gangsters.
Yeah, he does also scream a few times through the movie, but I mean...
Sure. And I mean, he very, very violently kills that man in the opening scene of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's kind of rage cagey.
Yeah, yeah, that's rage cage, when he does the pointing the finger at the mother.
Yes. That's so good. Oh.
With the hair in his face. Oh. Yeah, I mean, he was very enjoyable to watch in this movie.
Very enjoyable, and that's kind of funny or interesting. That this is probably one of his better performances. I gotta say, just like with Valley Girl, I kind of got a little man crush on him.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I have a type of guy that I like, even though I'm not homosexual. It's just like that he's really charming in this movie. He's really nice.
Yeah.
The scene when the first scene in the club when they're dancing to the metal band.
Yeah.
When he for some reason just stops the band. And then talks to the guy who was dancing with his woman. And then he starts singing to Lula. I was just like... that worked for me, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, he's... The only issue here with this character is that he's... I don't know if it's supposed to be like a what do you say? It's unreliable narrator, but he's like almost too cool at all moments throughout the movie, like in a way that it's borderline cringe, and things where like, yeah, that's a perfect example where you can just stop a band, sort of punch up a guy to say forgiveness to this girl, and then ask the band to play a song that he wants, even though it's a rock band. They play like Elvis or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
you guys know this one, and then he starts singing.
Just take the microphone and sings. It's just, and then that snake jacket that he has, snake skin jacket he has, and it's just, it's borderline cringe.
Yeah,
but in a fun way.
I just found it very attractive.
Did you know that it actually is his own snakeskin jacket?
Oh yeah, but he gave it to Laura Dern, right?
Yeah, but he sort of
said something about that.
He sort of convinced David Lynch that he could wear it throughout the movie.
Once again, Nicholas, I want you to wear this jacket. No, man, I have this beautiful snakeskin jacket. I could wear it in the movie. No, I'd like to wear this. No, man, come on, I want to wear it. I want to use the stupid voice. It's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that's his go-to now. Either I wear the jacket or I do the stupid voice. You decide. Oh fuck! He was to take the jacket. Jesus.
Take the jacket, then. God damn it.
But also, I did read just regarding that the stupid voice. He said in an interview that this movie made him stop method acting.
Yes, I read that too, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because he obviously he nails the character without method acting, which is a good thing. I mean, if you can avoid method acting, that's good, because sometimes that can be very self-destructive.
Yeah, I suspect that he tried method acting throughout the movie, but at the end he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, he mentions because not Nicolas Cage, David Lynch, could change stuff on the day. He would change the script or whatever, so you couldn't really be too much in the script because it would change time and time again. So. And that's usually a bad thing, but here it worked for Nicolas Cage, so that's good.
Because
I suppose.
Mean, Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, they went on a road trip before filming to Vegas together.
To kind of get to know each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and I suspect that was part of his trying to method act it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then Lynch came in and said, I've changed everything.
We're gonna do this. You're not going to Vegas. You're going to Texas.
I wrote this car crash. It's like a broken porcelain doll. What? Yep.
You have to save this young girl. She's dying in your arms. What? What? I want to go to Vegas. No, we're gonna stop in Big Tuna. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
You're gonna rob a bank. What? No, I'm guessing that wasn't the script.
I mean, there has to be some script. I mean,
no, there's no script. He knocked on his trailer. Nicholas, you're gonna rob a bank today. What? Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, he's very, very great, and I think Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern is great together. Great chemistry.
They have great chemistry, so I guess that Vegas trip worked.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think those two really carry the movie throughout. If it weren't definitely. Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, I can't see this movie work. I mean, I can't change any of them.
No, I don't think so. They became the characters. They were Lola and Sailor, definitely.
Yeah. So I am. I'm inclined to agree that this is his best performance.
So far, the movies we watched, definitely. So he's it's his most quality work, and he feels the most comfortable in this role, even more so than Vampire's Kiss, which I would say is his second best performance. But that one is just all about him experimenting and being method. So this is like the polar opposite. So in a way that makes it even better that he had to like actually act and not just be method, and it works so well. So. And I mean, compare this to last week's movie. God damn!
Oh
my god! They came out in the same year. That's so weird. But it also proves that like it's not all the actor. I mean, you can have the greatest actor in the world, but if your director sucks, well, the performance is gonna suck too.
What was that? What's the thing? Right. And at this point, he's worked with a lot of big names, big name directors. At this point.
Yeah.
So he did Coppola, but we talked about that.
Oh yeah.
Probably not that nepotism. Probably.
Probably a little bit of nepotism. Yeah.
But then he worked with the Coen brothers.
Oh yeah, in Racing Arizona.
And now Lynch. I don't know if there are any more notable directors.
I mean, what's the guy? The guy who directed Moonstruck. What's his name?
All right.
He's considered a well-known name when it comes to movies. Like no, wait, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the writer. Sorry, Norman Jewison. I don't know who that is. I was thinking of someone else.
No.
No. Yeah. So yeah, Coppola, Coen Brothers, David Lynch. Yeah.
Okay, the one. Well, he's not a big name, I'd say. Well, not not a household name, but the one Norman Jewison who directed Moonstruck. He also directed The Hurricane.
Yeah, he did some stuff, and he made the movie version of Jesus Christ Superstar. So he's done some stuff.
Yeah, but so on this the road to the Oscar that we called it, we're halfway. Well, a little above halfway to the Oscar now. And I mean, he's gone through a lot of changes. He done a lot of method acting. He tried a lot of different roles at this point. He worked with a lot of good and interesting directors, a lot of different genres of movies too. So he's a very versatile actor at this point.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing with him. He is not, even in his early career, he's not pigeonholing himself like, oh, I'm the action guy, or oh, I'm the drama guy. No, he's done everything.
Yeah.
Comedy, action, drama, thriller, whatever Vampire's Kiss is. He's done everything. And for the most part, except for Firebirds, they're all pretty good movies. Yeah, The Boy in Blue is the other really one that wasn't that good.
Yeah,
but it was still fine.
Yeah, Boy in Blue is obviously a mistake in production.
Yeah.
Firebirds is just a mistake.
It's just bad. Yeah,
it just shouldn't exist. Boy in Blue, as we talked about, it could have worked if they just had a few rewrites. It could have worked.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you can see from this at this point in his career, it's probably no surprise if he get nominated or wins an Oscar.
Oh no, definitely, yeah. He's and I'm wondering how much of that is like a plan. Like I'm gonna pick good directors from now on. I'm gonna pick different roles. I'm gonna show them I can act. I'm a good actor. Because that's really what it feels like. Because there's not a lot of like movies that he seems to pick because they're popular. Like we said, once again, The Boy in Blue felt like that. Like early in his career, he wanted a starring role in a historical movie, but he picked the wrong one, so it sucked. And then, I guess, if you want to do a cash grab action movie, Warbirds or Firebirds. Both of those times, it backfired.
Yeah. I thought the Italian movie was going to be a cash grab too, but that's actually had some potential.
It has substance, but it wasn't great. But
there was something there at least. You can see that if you read the script beforehand, you can see, this looks interesting.
Yeah.
Firebirds, though.
Well, yeah. The less we talk about Firebirds, the better. That movie sucks.
We're gonna talk a lot about Firebirds in every episode because at this point, it's the worst movie he made, and I mean,
oh yeah,
by far. I mean, if we look at the scores we put, it's like there's 2 movies that's below us 6.
Yeah, and that's Boy in Blue and Firebirds. And for me, I gave Firebirds a 2 out of 10. So, yeah.
But yeah, it's a good question if this was planned, because I always had that. That's always a thing I had with Nicolas Cage, or a belief that he worked his ass off to get an Oscar, and then after that he just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna have fun now."
Well, looking at the list, we're going a little bit ahead of ourselves. But I mean, he won the Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas. And then directly after that are 3 action movies, and I think 2 or even all 3 of them are Jerry Bruckheimer movies. So he's obviously like, man, I'm gonna do whatever I want now.
Yeah.
And probably the movies that made him the most money as well.
Yeah, and so far it really feels like he's actually he's like speed running an Oscar. He does everything he can to get an Oscar as fast as possible. Sort of. It feels like it, at least.
Yeah. And I mean, from him starting acting like properly in '83, it took him 12 years, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of actors that get it in 12 years, and to exception of those who win an Oscar of their first part.
Oh yeah, sure.
They don't really count, but
no, they're outliers. Yeah. They're
It feels like we see that like in every Oscar. But it's just someone who wins an Oscar for their first role. Just breakout performance.
Like when really young, like when kids are Oscar nominated, they aren't really nominated anymore. But sometimes it happens.
Yeah, or like sometimes when what is it called from Django and
Jamie Foxx?
No, the dentist. What is it called?
Oh, Schultz. Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz. Like he did his. Wasn't that like his first not German movie?
Yeah.
No.
Glorious Bastard. It was his
Bastard.
Second. Yeah. His second like Hollywood movie. And he wins an Oscar.
But he won an Oscar.
He did act for a long time before that in Germany.
But he won an Oscar for Inglourious Basterds.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's also one of those his first movie, quote unquote, in America at least, to win an Oscar, because it's really hard to win an Oscar for a German movie or a American movie. Yeah,
for foreign actors. Yeah, it's usually 90% of the actors are American actors. So that's true.
But yeah, so 12 years I think is pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, how long did it take for DiCaprio?
Oh my God.
Like 30?
He won in 2015, so he started somewhere around like 94. So almost 20 years, yeah.
And also Nicolas Cage has worked with a lot of, at this point at least, very famous actors. They weren't at that when he worked with them, but
but they became famous later.
Yeah,
like I mean, if you're listening to this on Patreon, you've heard it was a while since we talked about it, but for all the non-paying plebs, sorry, I've just called you plebs, people. Racing with the Moon just released today. For all the people when we're recording this, and I mean that's a perfect example. He worked with Sean Penn in a movie that nobody remembers.
Yeah, Sean Penn and Crispin Glover.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had what was it? In Birdie, what's that actor's name?
What's his name? Well, he's not as big as.
He's not Sean Penn big, but he is a recognizable actor at least.
Wasn't he in Quantum Leap? Matthew Modine, yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Modine. And famous at the moment in Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then we have like Cher is an actor, but a famous person at least.
Yeah. And of course, in Firebirds, he's acting against Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh right.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, he I think he got a lot of connections at this point too, to get good movies, to get a foothold in.
Oh sure, yeah, definitely.
You think he did Firebirds because to get that connection?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That movie. Because it doesn't look expensive enough, and like there's not really any famous people other than Tommy Lee Jones. I don't like the directors aren't famous, the producers aren't famous. There's no one you recognize except for Nicolas Cage. What's her name? The girl.
Right.
Sean Young and then Tommy Lee Jones. That's the only one you recognize. So I can't believe that was for connections. I think he just like, I'm gonna try an action movie. Maybe this will be my Top Gun, and it just crashed and burned.
If you only knew,
just
wait like 5 more years, then you got them all.
Yeah, and he's in some of the best like 90s action movies, The Rock and Face Off.
So back to Wild at Heart.
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it, and it wasn't so hard to figure out that it was annoying. Like I recently watched The Green Knight. That one it just didn't make sense to me while I was watching it, so I couldn't really enjoy it. I had to record an entire podcast with my sister to figure it out. But this one was like, I mean, I got it. I mean, and also like the surface level story is still interesting. So I enjoyed it. It's not perfect, but it's an 8 out of 10. I would say
8 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's like you only gave this 8, then 2 other 8s and a 10. Oh, and a 9 too. Yeah,
and a 9. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna go a little lower because it's a good movie. I will rewatch it. But it's a little too Lynchy.
Sure.
At times.
I mean,
and also,
I'm a big fan of Lynch, so that helps. I like his style of movie making.
And then also, there was a little too few highs and lows in this movie. It was a little too...
Okay.
Well, the characters didn't really evolve. Things didn't happen that much. It was this classic thing happened, then next thing happened.
Sure, yeah.
Without a red line, and that is very Lynch. So I mean, that's sort of what the movie's going for.
Yeah,
but that sort of takes off the enjoyment for me, sort of.
Sailor's character development happens in the last minute of the movie.
Yeah,
when he finally grows up and like, no, I should take responsibility for my actions.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna put it quite a lot lower, and actually gonna give it a 6.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
How can you do this to David Lynch? He's a treasure.
Well, yeah, but maybe this
haven't
movie
you watched his weather reports?
I have. I'm not saying that Lynch is bad. I'm saying this movie is not for me. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's very true, and that is the thing with David Lynch. Yeah. Not everything he does is going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
Nothing he does is for everyone.
So yeah, and that was the next to last movie Nicolas Cage did in 1990, the year 1990. So he did the Italian movie Firebirds, Wild Heart, and next week he did Zandali.
Zandali, which I have no idea what that even is.
No idea.
Let's see what it says on IMDb.
Yeah.
It is Thierry's wife Zandali married the poet he once was. Taking over his dad's company in New Orleans gives him stress and impotence. Oh. Thierry meets his high school buddy Johnny. Oh, can they be Nicolas Cage? Oh, I just spoke Swedish. Could that be Nicolas Cage? Johnny at a bachelor party. The painter Johnny can satisfy Zandali. Oh my God, it's a cuckold story. Yeah, Nicolas Cage plays Johnny Collins.
Of course he does. I mean, from that.
Oh my God! And Judge Reinhold plays the impotent poet. Oh, poor man. But that's fun though. I like Judge Reinhold, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So we'll see if this is something.
Well, looking at the cast list, a lot of good actors. Like I said, Judge Reinhold, Joe Pantoliano, Ian Abercrombie, who I like from Seinfeld, and Steve Buscemi.
Marisa Tomei.
Oh yeah, Marisa Tomei. That's always a plus.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I've never watched it. Never knew it existed until when we made this list.
Yeah.
So I am very excited to watch it. But that's for next week. So thank you to everyone listening or watching it on YouTube. Remember, you can always just listen to it on all major platforms, podcast platforms, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. And also, if you want to, like we mentioned before, if you want to hear all the episodes in advance, several weeks in advance, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. For just $3 a month, you get every episode several weeks in advance. And you also help us stay afloat with all the server costs and things. But that's enough of that. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
The Nicolas Cage podcast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It's produced, directed, and edited by Tobias Vedén. Hosted by Tobias Vedén and Christopher Billén after an original idea by Christopher Billén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. And a big thank you to all our sponsors over at Patreon for keeping the show going. Laura Kinney, Rasmus Jonsson, Mom, and Dad. If you also want to join our Patreon, you can at www.patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Help us keep the show going.